freedom of speech.
Chud walks up to a black police officer and another black man, and he tries his hardest to antagonize him. He tried everything in his power to get them to act out of character.
Got your body cam on? No? I want to know what y'all were talking about before I walked over here. You've been standing here the whole time in your live stream. What's he videoing me for? You don't know? Anything malicious? You sure he didn't say nothing? Here's that guy. Is that what he said? Huh? You don't got nothing to say, though. All right, well, God bless you. Hey, keep the streets safe. White monster! That's why he's not chimping out. That'll do it. Black guys need to drink a white monster. It'll make them mature, it'll give them a good job, and it'll be a productive member of society. White monster, we're gonna get a sponsorship one day.
Question.
Me and more.
Are you just here to rage bait people?
Oh no, we're here to bring freedom of speech back.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you're in America. Don't come to my country talking me. This is America. You heard me? You heard me? How's it going, sir? God bless you.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You're the guy, you own the honky tonk?
Nope, I'm just one of the folks who work here.
They won't let me in here.
They won't. Why not?
Because I said the N-word on the internet. Now they say I'm just an un-American person because I believe in freedom of speech. Isn't that crazy?
Well, considering it, two of my boys are black, I can understand that.
Why does that matter?
It does. I don't like it. Just go ahead.
You don't like freedom of speech either?
Just go ahead and go.
I'm gonna stand right here. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go to jail? Look at him. He's gonna waddle over to the cop.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cashapp or buying your girl a coffee. I just want to give a quick shout out to my first Faye ambassador. Shout out to Nefertiti. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to sign up for memberships or sign up to be an ambassador as well to receive a shout out, the link will be in the description down below. Hey y'all, I wanted to pop in here and have a quick conversation about freedom of speech. Now, you guys already know I am America down, okay? I am very patriotic, nationalistic. I love my home. My ancestors are buried here. This is my home, and I love the freedoms that we have. There are people out there who say that they are for freedom of speech. They say that they are going out into the world and behaving this way all in the name of protecting freedom of speech. These very same people that are going around saying, yeah, freedom of speech, yeah, we should be able to say whatever we want. If they are engaging in nuisance behavior, if they are going out into the world and using their freedom of speech to harass people, understand these are the very people that are going to get our right to freedom of speech snatched away from us. Now, I want to give you guys a perfect example of this. So you have this dummy, calls himself Chud. His whole shtick is going out into the wild, finding black people, talking crazy to them to try to get a reaction, and then filming the interaction and posting it online saying that black people are chimping out. And there are a couple different things that I want to address with this. I've already said this before. I don't like when we give reactions to racists, okay? People who want to catch us acting crazy, people who want to promote the narrative that black people are just all degenerates, that we're all evil, we're all violent. Don't give them a reaction. I am not for putting money in the pockets of people that are using us as the mules to get a dollar, to pop off. F them. Don't give them a reaction. But this conversation, it goes further than just that. So that's the reason why I'm talking about this. In a general sense, outside of saying don't react to these people, I normally just would not even engage with this type of content. With that being said, he is going around harassing folks in the name of freedom of speech. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because people like him are going to get our freedom of speech snatched away from us. Think about it like this. When you have a classroom and let's say the teacher has a rule that gives you some leeway, right? It's a rule in her classroom that allows you to do something that you normally are not allowed to do in other classrooms, but she offers it to you guys because you've been doing what you're supposed to do. And it's just a way to give you a little bit more freedom. Now, insert a class clown who uses that rule, that leeway, in order to do things that are outside of the scope of what that leeway was meant for. What ends up happening is once this behavior gets out of control, then the teacher is going to reel it back in and say, look, we can't do this anymore because so-and-so is misusing this leeway that I'm giving you. They're misusing it. That is essentially what these idiots fail to realize. Going out into the public and harassing people, putting a camera in their face, talking crazy to folks that are just trying to go to the store, go to school, walk around, enjoy their city, go out for a night. People who are just trying to live their lives, they're not doing anything crazy. And you're going up to them and you're shoving a camera in their face and you're harassing them, saying crazy things to them to try to get a reaction. That is not civilized behavior. That in and of itself is low impulse, because you in your mind as a grown-ass adult should know better. You in your mind as a grown-ass adult should understand that, look, not everybody is part of this whole internet thing. People are out here just trying to live their lives, and typically it's people without lives that go out there and annoy other people living their lives because they can't relate. Understand this behavior in and of itself is just degenerate. No one wants to live in a society where you go out to the store to go buy some eggs and you're being bombarded with people shoving a camera in your face and talking crazy to you to get a reaction. This behavior cannot be universalized. This is not a behavior that we would say, yeah, everybody should do this. No, nobody would agree to that. Because imagine a black person going out and doing this exact same behavior, but aimed towards white people. They would understand how that's problematic. I hate to use that word, but they would understand how that is a problem. So in any other circumstance, it's still a problem. You do not go out into the public and be a nuisance and then claim that you're conservative. Like, there's nothing conservative about that. There's nothing pro-free speech about that. And the reason why is because that very same behavior is going to lead to legislation meant to stop you from doing that. And then that legislation is then going to be used to silence people who want to speak out against their government, to silence people who want to speak out against a government official, because that's how they do this. They put in some legislation that seems to fix a problem that we can all agree is a problem, like for instance, nuisance streamers. And then that legislation is used to create precedent for other situations. So you open the door by behaving like a degenerate and getting people on board with the idea of limiting freedom of speech, because that's what you're doing. You're creating a negative feeling around freedom of speech, because when they see you using it in this way, it's a turnoff to most people. Okay, maybe edgy adults that never grew out of middle school, they're gonna see it as, yeah, go out here and do this dumbass shit, because they're immature and they're brain rotted, low intelligence, brain rotted and immature. So of course they're gonna be, clapping like dumbass seals for this type of behavior. But any mature adult that is out there in the world is going to see this behavior and say it is a problem, because guess what? It is a problem. It's degenerate. It's a nuisance. It's not civilized. What you're doing is going to galvanize people into being against freedom of speech, because they see the way that you're using it and they're going to say, look, we got to stop this, because I don't want to be out and about and get harassed. I don't want my daughter, my grandmother, my grandfather, my parents, I don't want my nieces and nephews going out into the world and then Chud, the dumbass, is walking up to them and harassing them and putting them all on the internet. Like, nobody wants that. What you're doing is giving them a reason to limit freedom of speech because of the way you're using it. If you truly care about freedom of speech, then you would highlight the positives of it, not show where it's negative. You feel what I'm saying? So he's so stupid that he's latching on. And see, I want you guys to understand this. He's using freedom of speech as a shield to make it seem like this is some kind of moral thing, when really it's just, I want to be a shock jock and get views because I'm a loser and I can't do anything else. I don't have any real skills outside of just being stupid, which, I mean, he's skillfully stupid. So he's going to go out here and behave this way and then hide behind, well, freedom of speech. I guess you just don't like freedom of speech. No, people don't like being harassed. People don't like going out into the wild to go to and fro, to buy some eggs, to go to school, to go out for a night, and then having a camera shoved in their face and some dumbass antagonizing them, saying crazy stuff to them. Freedom of speech was not, hey, we should be able to go up to everybody and talk crazy to them. Nobody wants to live in that world. Nobody. Even a Nick Fuentes, who is very much so open about his disdain for all sorts of people. Even Nick Fuentes is like, bruh, no, you don't treat people crazy who are just out in the wild trying to live their lives. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they got going on. And you're going ahead and you get in their face.
Would you collab with Chud?
Pepper spraying a mudge. I didn't see that. No, I don't like all that. It's too mean-spirited. You know, it's one thing to have our politics, but the going around and antagonizing people, I'm not in favor. I don't like that. The issue is, like, the stuff that they're doing is just, to me, it's not nice. I don't believe in that, okay? And I saw Chud the Builder got a little bent out of shape about what I said. I don't think I said anything derogatory. I don't like that approach. That's not my approach. It's one thing to be vicious to the people in the arena. You want to be vicious to Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. That's fair game. They're in the arena. But I really don't like that approach of antagonizing people in public. I just don't. I just don't like that in general. Not even just for politics, but I think that people have enough on their plate. You don't know what people are going through. And people have enough problems. People are trying to get to work, or they're trying to do their thing, or they got something on their mind. I don't like that people are out there bothering everybody. I don't like that in general, whether it's prank channels, political stuff. I don't like that. So I just think that's wrong. I think it's unethical. That's not my MO. I don't like these streams where you go and become a public nuisance, or you go and antagonize people, or you try and instigate a fight, I don't like that. I don't like mean-spirited stuff.
How would you feel if that was you? How would you feel if you're just out here trying to live your life and somebody did that same behavior to you? But we already know how he feels, because when black people who he's harassing put a camera in his face, he's like, well, let's see his recording. Bitch, you're recording. These individuals are so stupid that they don't realize that their behavior is going to be the door that opens up to them snatching away our freedom of speech. You're the very reason why we would lose our freedom of speech, because they see the way you're using it to harass and insult and antagonize people who are just trying to live their lives. You're going to get them on board with saying, yeah, we need to start limiting this. Yeah, he should be arrested for saying words out in the public. You are giving them a reason. Stupid. That's why I think this conversation is important, because these same folks that want to get out here and talk about freedom of speech, my freedom of speech, you guys are attacking my freedom of speech, are the very same people that are going to get our freedom of speech limited. You end up having a government that is tyrannical. You end up having a government that you don't like, and you want to speak out about it, or the vaccines, or whatever the case may be. Something happens and you want to speak out about it. You want to use your freedom of speech in the way it was intended. But because they passed legislation to stop people like him from harassing folks in public, now they get to set precedent using those very same laws against you. Then what? I mean, what is the logic behind that? Yeah, I'm pro freedom of speech, so I'm going to use my freedom of speech in a way that turns people off. Like, what? To keep my freedom? No. Logically, that is just not sound. But these are stupid individuals who are shock jocks, and they don't actually care about freedom of speech. They don't. Because if you cared about freedom of speech and you had more than 2 brain cells to rub together, you would see how your behavior is going to cause us to lose that very same freedom of speech that you're hiding behind. And there's another little thing that I want to make sure I point out. All these different videos that he keeps posting, and he's trying to paint the narrative that black people are just all violent. Understand, every single time he walks away from those interactions without being killed is evidence that maybe black people in a general sense just aren't as violent as y'all say. If black people were so terrifying, right, you would not be so comfortable going up to us talking crazy like that. If you were so terrified of black people, this would not be your day job. And I say job in air quotes. This would not be a behavior that you would engage in, because if it was so dangerous for y'all to be around black folks, if we were just so unhinged and so lacking all impulse control, you would get touched every single time you go out and behave this way. But your streams show the exact opposite. Maybe they might say some things back to you. The narrative that all black people are violent, it falls flat because you're still alive. Zimmerman is still alive. A lot of these same people that push these narratives that black people are all just dangerous and violent are still alive. So you're not eating. You're not proving the point. So even the points that he's trying to prove in his videos fall flat with the evidence that he's giving. If you go up to white people and talk crazy to them, more likely than not, you're gonna get a similar reaction to when you're going up to black people and talking crazy to them. People in general don't like being talked crazy to. Like, what are we talking about here? That's not chimping out, as you would say, getting angry that someone's talking crazy to you. Like I said before, don't give them a reaction, because that just gives them more clout, as they say. But at the end of the day, human behavior is human behavior, and that's across the board. You can't go around talking crazy to people and then expect every single person that you do that to not talk crazy back to you. But y'all, how do you feel about this video? Do you agree with me where it's like Chud the dumbass is gonna be the very reason why we lose our freedom of speech, even though he wants to say my freedom of speech? You don't like that I say that word, so you don't like freedom of speech. But really, your behavior is the very thing that would get our freedom of speech yanked away from us? Or do you disagree with me where it's like, hi, I'm an edgy adult and I don't think for things longer than 2 seconds. So yeah, Chud the Builder is out here building something. There's no defending this. There's really no defending this outside of just admitting that you're also stupid. That's the only way to defend this, is to come out and say, hi, I'm stupid and I'm defending it. Like, any defense of this type of behavior is just stupid because nobody wants to live in that world, okay? If we were to universalize his behavior, that would be a hellhole. Nobody wants to live in a world. You go out to run errands, you go out to work, you go out to eat, you go out to live your life as a normal human being, and you got people shoving a camera in your face because they don't like something or they think this or they think that. Nobody wants to live in that world. I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the video, like the video. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that's for you. Okay, if it's for you, hype the video. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.